Happy Friday and welcome to this week's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young and, as per usual, I'll get started with both the NBA and NHL playoffs. Starting out in the NBA, in the Western Conference, the Oklahoma City Thunder were looking to get back to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2012. They got out to a hot start, quickly jumping out to a 2-0 lead over the Minnesota Timberwolves. But, with their backs against the wall, the Timberwolves responded in Game 3 in dominant fashion. Anthony Edwards had 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists in just 3 quarters for the Timberwolves in a whopping 143-101 victory on Saturday night. Julius Randle added 24 points, and rookie Terrence Shannon Jr. had 15 points in just 13 minutes as Minnesota bounced back from 2 early lopsided losses. Game 4 looked a lot different, however. The newly crowned NBA MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, had 40 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists, as the Thunder snapped back from their 42-point loss and narrowly outlasted the Timberwolves 128-126, taking a 3-1 series lead. The Thunder then cruised to a 124-94 win on Wednesday night to close out the Timberwolves in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. They became the second youngest team with an average age of 25.6 years old to advance to the finals, just behind the Portland Trail Blazers' 1976 championship team. Gilgeous-Alexander yet again led the way for OKC, scoring 34 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. For the first time in 13 years, the Thunder are now headed back to the NBA Finals. In the Eastern Conference, things went almost identically to the Western Conference. The Indiana Pacers immediately snuck out to a 2-0 series lead over the New York Knicks after the electric Game 1 overtime win, followed by a 114-109 win in Game 2. Just like Minnesota in the West, New York bounced back with a win in Game 3, and it was not an easy win. Karl Anthony Towns scored 20 of his 24 points in the fourth quarter as New York erased yet another 20-point deficit, and Jalen Brunson helped close out the 106-100 victory Sunday night to take Game 3. In Game 4, Tyrese Halliburton finished with 32 points, 15 assists, and 12 rebounds without a turnover in a historic postseason performance to lead the Pacers past the Knicks 130-121 on Tuesday for a 3-1 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. Halliburton became the first player with such a stat line in the postseason since turnovers were first tracked in 1977. The Pacers were just 1 win away from their second ever NBA Finals appearance since losing to the Lakers in 2000. In Game 5 last night, the New York Knicks fought for another win to stay alive, and the series now sits at 3-2. Game 6 will be tomorrow, with Game 7 on Sunday if need be. The NBA Finals will begin next Thursday, June 5th, so don't miss out on any of the basketball excitement since we will crown a champion and it will all be over very quickly. Over on the ice, oddly enough, things went very similar to the NBA. In the West, the Dallas Stars and Edmonton Oilers swapped wins in Games 1 and 2. In Games 3 and 4, though, Edmonton teed off. Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman each scored twice for the Edmonton Oilers, who cruised to a 6-1 win against the Dallas Stars in Game 3 on Sunday. In Game 4, though, Hyman suffered an upper body injury early in the game after a collision and is now unlikely to play again in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Oilers still managed to breeze to a 4-1 win in Game 4 after Leon Draisaitl and Corey Perry each had a goal and an assist for Edmonton, who pushed the Dallas Stars to the brink of elimination. In Game 5 on Thursday, the Oilers managed to seal the deal and beat the Dallas Stars, winning the series 4-1 and advancing to the Stanley Cup Finals for the second straight year and the 9th time in franchise history. In their way of a 6th Stanley Cup stands the Florida Panthers yet again, setting the stage for a rematch of last year's electric 7-game final round. In the series between the Hurricanes and Panthers, Carolina began to relive an all-too-familiar nightmare. After 5-2, 5-0, and 6-2 victories, the Panthers were up 3-0 in the blink of an eye and on the precipice of sweeping the Hurricanes. At this point, the Hurricanes were an astonishing 0-15 in conference final games since their last win over the Buffalo Sabres in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Final on June 1, 2006. Carolina finally broke their losing streak in Game 4 when Frederik Andersen made 20 saves, and the Hurricanes avoided elimination by defeating the Panthers 3-0. That avoidance didn't last too long, though, as Florida closed out the series on Wednesday night, eliminating the Hurricanes 4-1 and advancing to their 3rd straight Stanley Cup final appearance and 4th all-time. The Hurricanes did not go quietly into elimination, however. Sebastian Aho started the game scoring back-to-back goals for the Hurricanes in just the first period. Entering the second period down 2-0, Florida then scored 3 goals in the second period, 2 of which came within a 30-second span to take a 3-2 lead. Then, Carolina's Seth Jarvis beat Florida goalie Sergei Bobrovsky midway through the third to tie it at 3-3. 12 minutes into the third period, Carter Verhaeghe would finally end the tie and send Florida to the Stanley Cup Finals. The Panthers are now looking to become the first repeat champions since Tampa Bay in the 2020 and 2021 seasons. The Stanley Cup Finals will begin sometime next week, so just like the NBA, don't miss out on any of the final days of action, as we will crown a champion very soon. Sticking with hockey, a team representing the United States made history earlier this week. The United States struck gold at the World Championship for the first time in nearly a century. Tage Thompson of the Buffalo Sabres scored the lone goal at 2 minutes and 2 seconds into overtime, and Jeremy Swayman of the Boston Bruins made 25 saves to help the United States defeat Switzerland 1-0 in the gold medal game of the 2025 IIHF World Championship at Avicii Arena on Sunday. It's the first gold medal for the U.S. since 1933. The U.S. had previously lost 12 consecutive semifinal games at the tournament before beating host Sweden 6-2 on Saturday to advance to the gold medal round. In case you were like me and didn't fully know what the IIHF tournament was until earlier this week, here's a brief breakdown. Annual International Men's Ice Hockey 16-team tournament organized by the International Ice Hockey Federation, aka the IIHF, which was officially held at the 1920 Olympics. So, congratulations to Team USA for earning our country's first gold medal in 92 years. Moving to a sport that I don't cover too much, but is somewhat similar to hockey. In the college lacrosse world, the possible new greatest player of all time has cemented his legacy. On Tuesday, number 1 Cornell defeated number 2 Maryland 13-10 in the D1 Men's Lacrosse Championship, capturing its first title since 1977 and its 4th overall. In fact, this was the first title for Cornell in any sport since their '77 lacrosse title win, and they did it in dominant fashion all year long. Cornell went 18-1 this season, tying a Division I mark for wins in a total season. They also led the nation in scoring and had 8 All-Americans on their roster. Leading the way was senior All-American C.J. Kirst. Kirst earned the Lieutenant Raymond J. Enner's Outstanding Player of the Year award after he led the nation in both goals and points. Kirst also became the all-time NCAA D1 leader in goals with a whopping 247 career goals. He scored multiple goals in every single game this season and has 9 games with at least 5 goals, including a 9-goal effort in the regular season matchup with Yale and a career-high 12 points on 6 goals and 6 assists in a win at Hobart. In Cornell's 19 games this season, Kirst scored an astounding 82 goals. So, congratulations to him and Cornell on their historic season. To end the show, I thought I'd cover a sport I've never even once mentioned on this show: cheese rolling. The annual cheese rolling downhill race took place Monday at Cooper's Hill in Gloucestershire, England. If you have no idea what this is, or even think I may have lost my marbles a little bit, the annual downhill cheese rolling event is basically this. Every year for the past 100 years or so, competitors chase a large, round wheel of double Gloucester cheese down a steep hill. The first person to reach the bottom, or catch the cheese, wins. Dozens of competitors navigated the steep hill across multiple races throughout the day, with 23-year-old German Tom Kopke emerging victorious in the first men's race for the 2nd year in a row. If you haven't seen this event before, I highly suggest looking up videos online because it's pretty entertaining. With all of that said, enjoy all the basketball, hockey, baseball, and various dairy sports that this weekend has to offer. Come right back next Friday for more news, updates, and highlights from all across the sports world. I'm Cole Young. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in June.